What up, people? Push the Ball Black here with Push the Ball Black Sports. And I don't know how long this is going to go. This might be a quickie. It depends on how long I ran about this. Okay. Bears lose 15-14 by the 49ers, and I don't know what I just watched. You ever watch a game and sometime, like halfway through the game, you're sitting here and you're like, all right, this isn't going to be enough. The current situation, even though you're winning the game or your team is winning the game, they're like, and I've been in this situation as an athlete too. Like, okay, you're in a game or you're watching a game and you're saying to yourself, what we're doing right now or what my team is doing right now is not going to be enough to win the game. I've watched games like this as a fan and I've been in games like this as an athlete. And you end up, and at the time, you're like, as an athlete, because I remember playing wheelchair basketball once, and I was like, it's too close, right? The team we were playing against was too close. I'm like, we're not winning this game. I remember coming out a timeout, and I'm telling my teammates, I'm like, we're not losing this game. We're not losing this game. We're not losing this game. And I'm like, and they're like, but we're winning though. And I'm like, no, this is too close. And we ended up losing the game by like 7 points or something like that, because the team was able to do whatever they wanted to do. Even though we were beating them, the team was able to do what they wanted to do to us. They were able to get whatever they wanted to get. And we were able to, we started out good, but they were able to match. And they ended up winning the game. I watched this Bears game, and I was like, it was 14-6. And the Bears, it was a 3-and-out. And I'm like, the Bears are going to lose this game. Something crazy is going to have to happen for the Bears, where they're going to have to figure out how to get in the end zone for the Bears to win this game, because they're not doing anything. And I watched Jimmy Garoppolo and I watched San Francisco get whatever they wanted, other than getting in the end zone. They couldn't get in the end zone for nothing. And it wasn't like Jimmy Garoppolo didn't, because he was able to move the ball down the field. And it wasn't like they were, they actively like stopped him defensively. It was just because honestly, there was a catch, but he was out of bounds. And it was a brilliant catch by their tight end, but he was just out of bounds. And I was like, and that's the only reason why this team didn't have 8 to 9 point lead on the Bears, was because there was a touchdown catch that he caught out of bounds. They were able to do whatever they wanted to do against the Bears defense, other than get in the end zone. The Bears prevented them from getting in the end zone, which was cool. But when you got one of the best field goal kickers ever, you're going to lose that game if you can't score. Mitchell Trubisky threw 12 times, threw 15 times, completed 12 passes for 102 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Howard ran the ball 7 times last week, ran the ball 13 times this week. Okay? Your leading receiver is 5'6", and he only had 39 yards. He did have a wonderful punt. I think it was a punt return or kickoff return. I'm not really sure. He had a wonderful return where, when he doubled back and he found the hole, I was like, yeah. Because everybody was like, no, he's going the wrong way. Then he found the hole. He ran it in. Cool. But that wasn't enough to beat them. And we're just waiting now for people to get fired. Like the Philly situation, I wasn't really mad at, because that was supposed to happen. Philly is the best team in the conference, at least in the conference. They're going to the Super Bowl. I'd be very surprised if they don't go to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked, because weird things happen, but they're going to the playoffs. They're probably going to be in the Super Bowl, barring some crazy thing that happens in the playoffs. That was supposed to happen. This wasn't supposed to happen. This was a scaled-down offense that the San Francisco 49ers ran for Jimmy Garoppolo. This is his first start for them. Come on, man. That should have been It should have been, Mr. Trubisky should have had at least another 100 yards. Throw the ball down the field. I don't know what they're doing. Garoppolo threw 37 times, completed 26 passes. Mr. Trubisky threw 15 times. Come on. Somebody has to get fired today. Somebody. If it's Dow Loggins, I don't care. If it's John Fox and you want to give Dow Loggins you want to, and I said it last week, you keep Dow Loggins you fire John Fox, you keep Dow Loggins for the rest of the season to see, okay, John Fox is gone. You don't have to force the ball to Jordan Howard. You can do whatever you want to do for these next 4 games, and this is your offense. This is your offense, and whoever else is here, this is your offense. Do what you want to do. Because there's an argument that can be said that John Fox's handcuffing him as far as like, okay, he has to throw the ball, he has to run the ball a certain way. We don't want Trubisky to throw too many passes because we don't want mistakes. Okay. Then John Fox needs to be fired. You put Dow Loggins as an interim head coach for these next 4 games. See what you have in him. See what he thinks about when he's the coach. See what type of offense he wants to run. That's if you believe that John Fox is hamstringing him in any way. I don't know if that's necessarily true. That's just a theory that I've been hearing. Quite honestly, I think you should fire both of them because this is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched the 49ers and I was like, I want their coaching staff. I don't want the coaching staff that we have now, that the Bears have now. I want theirs because Jimmy Garoppolo in a year is going to be fine. And I don't want to hear either how Bears don't have receivers. Like, okay, you have a receiver. Is he the best receiver? You have one receiver who is a professional receiver. You actually have 2 receivers who are professional receivers. Inman and Kendall Wright. Why do they only, of the 2 of them, why do they only have 4 receptions? Kendall Wright is your best receiver. He's your most reliable receiver. You don't have a deep threat. And San Francisco didn't even throw the ball down the field. Everything was up the middle. Everything was in the middle of the field. They didn't even stretch the field once. Come on, man. And you're telling, like people were saying about the receiving core here, you have possession receivers here. You have one possession receiver here that's been your go-to guy for the whole season. And he only got 2 receptions. You have the freak of nature Tariq Cohen that can base anything in space, and you can't figure out but only to give him, and he's still your number 1 receiver today with 39 yards. You can only get him 4 receptions. This is a problem. I don't want to hear about receiving cores now because basically I watched the team in San Francisco 49ers beat the Bears basically by throwing in the middle of the field. Possession receivers and tight ends, period. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Nobody stretched the field on the Bears today. They did everything up the middle of the field. That was ridiculous. And the Bears have receivers who can hurt you basically by being possession receivers. Don't give me they don't have receivers here. The game plan is bad. Everybody needs to be fired now. Period. Because this shouldn't have happened. The Bears should be 4-8 now. I'm sorry. This shouldn't have happened at all. The Bears should have not lost to this team at all. This is ridiculous. Fire everyone now. Or fire Fox. Let Loggins do what he wants to do. Let's see what you have in him. If nothing happens with him, if you don't see a spark in the offense with him as head coach, fire him after the season and reset it. Because, I refuse to believe that the Bears should have lost this game. Jimmy Garoppolo's good, but Jimmy Garoppolo's a question mark. We don't know how good he's going to be. We don't know how bad he's going to be. He looked pretty good today on a scaled down offense. But anyway, I'm done. Puts the wild blackout. Later. Oh, yeah. And why is, real quick, you have the San Francisco's down on your line in your red zone. It's under 2 minutes. They're going to score. They get a pass. They literally tried to. The receiver literally caught the ball, fell. He slid out of bounds, so they ended up stopping the clock anyway. But he fell, supposedly inbounds, to try to keep the clock running. Right? Why don't you let him score? Why don't you let him score? Then it's 18 to 14, 19 to 14 with your extra point or whatever, and you have a minute 25, and this was said in the broadcast. You have a minute 25 or so after the kickoff to try to get the ball down the field and try to score. Okay, like the coaching is just bad. Like it's bad. The coaching is bad. Like, figure it out, man. You cannot have receiving cores and still figure out how to. You cannot have like household name receiving cores and still figure out how to win games. Like they're just like I don't know. I'm tired of hearing about the whole we don't have receivers here. You don't have receivers here, but there comes a point where you at least got to try something. All right, I'm done. I promise that the Pussy Wild Blackout later.